Hey guys, Tim Walling here with SC Legal Carry. We train people to get a CWP in the state of South Carolina. If you need a CWP, please look us up online at sclegalcarry.com. Now, something came today. We just got in these Holosun, and this is the HS507C. The HS507C. This is the V2. All right, now I am going to install it on my SIG, and this is the P320, the X Compact. So we're going to install it on there. Let's unbox this and see what comes with it. And remember, we sell these at Optics 86. Optics 86. So let's just slide this thing open. Pop the top here. Holosun sends a really nice case to protect this. You've got your instructions. I've already taken a look at these. So to secure this, I'm going to need 15 inch-pounds. That is really what I'm looking for out of here as I went through this. So you've got your instructions. You've got a cleaning cloth. You've got various screws here to be able to mount different optics with it. And silica gel. And they've done a new key here. So they've got the end on it. And I think that's a T10 so that you can tighten the top of the optic down. And then they've got on the end here for your windage. So new style little screw there, or a little tool that you can use with the optic. And we'll set that down here. And the optic, what everybody's waiting on. Let's pull this out. So here is the optic they've come out with. Notice the difference is the large buttons. So you've got the large buttons on the side so that you can easily push the buttons to activate it, turn it on, off, toggle between. You can do the circle, the dot, and the circle dot together. This is a 32 circle MOA, and it has a 2-inch MOA, a 2 MOA. So 2 MOA with a 32 MOA circle. So you've got your circle and your dot. You can run between them. And of course it does have the solar panel on the top. So what this does is it's got a battery in it. And as you can see here on the side, this is, so they can change the battery now. You can change the battery easier on the side. Battery slides out for ease of changing. But it runs off battery and it runs off solar. It passes between solar power and battery power, and you won't even know the difference. You can set it on the mode so it runs strictly on the battery if that's how you want it. And it has an automatic adjustment on it. So it'll automatically adjust based on the light in the room, the amount of light in the room. That red dot will adjust for you, so you don't have to try to raise it and make it brighter in bright light. And you don't have to try to lower it down in dark light. It automatically does it for you on this optic. This optic comes with a mount already on the bottom, so you can mount it to an AR, a Picatinny rail if you want to. We're not going to do that, so we'll just wiggle it loose, and we'll just put this back in the box and this is what we're looking at, the optic. You can see how small it is without the base on it. Really small. Now, what I'm going to mount it to this SIG with is this is a Springer Precision, optic plate here that I'm going to mount it with. This is the SIG P320 M17 Trigicon, the SIG P320 M17 Trigicon RMR Co-Witness. RMR Co-Witness is what we're going to mount here. The reason I'm going to do that is I got a set of rear sights. I have some rear sights here that I picked up, and I'm going to mount these rear sights here and the front sight on the front of the firearm. I'll do that later. What I want to do right now is get the optic mounted on the firearm. Magazine in the gun. Take the magazine out or it's not going to work. First thing we want to do, check it for clear. Firearm is clear. Take down pin, rotate it down. Let me get a better grip on it. Rotate that down, drop the slide, and it comes right off the firearm. We won't need this. We can set this to the side. Now, to get your rear sights out, there are 2 screws in here. So we need to take this First thing we need to do is depress this pin. Your extractor is here, and this is your extractor spring. It's kind of holding it in place there. So let's go ahead and take that out. We got to press this down. So I'll try to do this where you can see it. I'll push down and push this forward. There we go. Don't let it jump out of there. And just slide it right out. Comes right out. We can pull extractor out, or our spring out, and you can just let the extractor fall out if you want to. I'm just going to kind of leave it in place for now. So look right here, there are two screws here. See if we can see these. There are two screws here and here on the firearm. We need to remove these screws. That's why we took this pin out, was so we can access this screw on this side. So our extractor has come out. We'll just lay it down. The extractor goes in one way, so you really can't mess that up as far as putting the extractor back in. So let's pop these screws out of here real quick. And this is a 3/32, so 3/32 Allen wrench. We'll drop it right in there and just bring those screws out. Reach over here and get this one out. And back over here. Now remember, hold your rear sights, because your rear sights will fall off this gun. So here we go. So see, the rear sights come off. The screws go right in here and hold the rear sights on. So we've got our screws out. Yes. All right, let's take this back out of here. There, our plate came off. Make sure your load indicator is still in place. There's a tiny screw. So here's our plate for it. One of our screws, here's our screw. The other screw. Other screws right here. All right, so do be careful. Did you see that thing jump up? There's a little tiny spring underneath here. Do not lose that spring. Be careful with that spring. Make sure you're holding that load indicator down. You've got some little teeth on the front here of the plate. They slide right up in the front of the slide. Snaps right down. Now, this thing was not a perfect fit. I had to file a little bit off the back here. Let me show you that. So see right here on the back, I had to file a little bit off the back, and I had to file these edges off a little bit to make it actually fit properly. I had to do a little bit of filing and work to the front. I've had a couple of these, and some of them fit perfect, some of them not. So we got a good bit of Loctite on there. Want to make sure that thing holds and stays in place. When you're using Loctite, make sure you let it sit for 24 hours. We got one in, and then we're going to drop the other side in. There we go. We've got both sides in. Make sure you let this thing dry for 24 hours to make sure your Loctite has set and dried into place, okay? So let's get that back in there. Just crank it down a little bit. Crank it down a little bit. So we've got two sets of screws in here. We've got some long screws and some short screws here. So how do we know which set of screws to use? Way to do that is to drop the longest screw into your optic first. Now lay it on your optic and then look right here and see if it hangs down below the plate. Here's the optic plate where it meets the firearm. You see how we have some distance right there? So I'm going to go with the short screws. Now you just drop your optic in, see how it fits. So that fits in there nice. It has some little protrusions here in the front, and you just lay it right in there. Press it down nice and tight. Fits on there good. So we'll take the shorter screws that came with the plate, and we're going to put a little Loctite on them. I want to make sure that this thing stays in place. I do not want it coming loose. I do not want to lose my zero. Yes. There we go. All right. So let's insert it in here. There we go. We can direct it a little better. Just want to get it started a little bit. And let's get the next one all the way around real good. Got our Loctite on. Want to insert it into the tool. That way we can control it a little bit and drop it right down in the hole. There we go. Just gently start tightening that up. I don't want to get Loctite on everything. So we're going to just snug that down. And you can feel as you spin this, the Loctite they put on it's kind of thick, and you can feel it kind of grabbing the threads as you turn it. So remember, we're going to 15 inch-pounds. So we tighten up a little bit on each side. A little bit on each side. You don't want to just crank one side down really hard and then crank the other. You don't want to crack it or break the optic. So just slightly. 15 inch-pounds. So let's back this thing off a little bit. There we go, 15 inch-pounds. So let's insert it. A little squeeze. Oops. Tighten her down some. Jump to this side. You don't want to put all your pressure at one time. There we go. 15 inch-pounds. 15 inch-pounds. We have an optic mounted. I'm really excited about running this Holosun on my gun. I like the idea of the 32-inch circle, the 2-inch dot in the middle. I can turn the circle dot off if I want and run the 2-inch dot. That 32-inch circle helps me to find that center dot really fast inside of there. I'll be able to put rear sights on it to co-witness with it. I'll push these front sights out, so I'm going to put suppressor sights on it that'll lift them up so that I can look through here and still see my sights if I need to. We have battery. You have your battery access here. You've got your photo cells on the top, and you have got on and off buttons here, these really large buttons. Hey.
Do you want a milkshake?
Yeah, I would love a milkshake. What flavor? Here it is on the firearm. Nice and tight. Now remember, we're going to let this thing set up for 24 hours before we actually go out and use it, okay? So let's get our extractor put back in here. And remember I said it can only go in one way. So there's really no wrong way to put it in. So it pops back in. Here's your pin that holds it in place. Notice it has a little flat spot here. That flat, the longer end faces up, and we will just slide it right back into this hole. Slide it in there, wiggle it around a little bit so it jumps right up on top of that extractor. You want to make sure that you can see it in this hole. It jumps back on top of the extractor and holds it down. So what we're going to do, here's your firing pin. We're going to push down on that so that we can start this piece. You just got to start that just a little bit. Now you got to push this back in. So let's see if I can do this left-handed. Let's see if we can push in right here and then push in. There we go. So push the pin down far enough so that you can slip this back into position. So we've got this in place. Now let's slide it on our firearm. Slide lock it. Check it. Trigger. And let's turn it on. There we go. Looks really good on the firearm there. Fits really well. Nice and smooth on the gun. I think it looks nice. let you guys get a look at the circle with the dot in it. So hold the minus button down for a couple seconds and it'll switch to the 2-inch dot. Hold the minus button down for a couple more seconds and there's just the circle by itself. And hold the minus button down a couple more seconds. It switches back to the 32-inch circle with the 2 MOA, so the 2-inch dot in the center. Okay, so let's talk about MOA real quick. There are 3 different ways to run this firearm. You've got a 2 MOA, so you've basically got a 2-inch circle at 100 feet. You're shooting in a 2-inch circle. As long as you put that red dot on something, you got a 2-inch circle. Now, the next thing you can do is you can run the circle, just the circle, the 32-inch circle if you want. You put that 32-inch circle on something at 100 yards, and you're going to be shooting basically in a large 32-inch area. But when you bring that in close to you, that continues to get smaller and smaller, that 32-inch circle. Or you can run them both together, and this is how I'm going to run it. The circle with the dot in the middle, the 32-inch circle with the 2-inch dot in the center of it. And this is why I want to do this, because this big circle will help me find that dot quicker and faster when I draw that firearm. And remember, guys, don't push your responsibility as an adult off onto a child. Buy gun locks and gun safes. Secure your firearms. And if you're looking for an optic, check us out online at Optics 86. Take care, folks. Till next time, be safe.